All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Glad to be back. Still in complete shock over what happened to my sister over the weekend. I found out Saturday night, and it was a painful Saturday night, as you guys know, if you have family members and loved ones. My goodness gracious. Um, wow. I mean, yeah. So that is the imagine how her fiance felt, and they were about to get married. My, in September. So, and that's why I kept saying it could be an awesome September for marriage, all types of stuff, economic reforms. Referendum votes to go independent, all types of stuff. Donald Trump even said prosperity is coming very soon. So wow, what a way to shake that up. Links in the description section for those that want to help with travel or funeral or just give a love offering. Thank you so much for that, and thank you for everybody who has so far. Appreciate that, man. I'm back. Let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay, so Prospectors ICO. This is the last day promoting Prospectors. It's been a blast. These guys are doing their thing in the cryptos. They're going to try to disturb the crypto market with their multi-player gaming. You're going to be able to play the game, earn gold, and then take that gold and then turn it into Ethereum. And then from Ethereum, you can then cash it out into your local currency. Let's check a look at what's been going on with Prospectors ICO. Let's check here and let me get the internet working. And there it is. Okay. So let's see what's going on. So let's see here. 1.143 million PGL sold, 79 participants. Cool. They're about to hit 100 this week. Or they'll probably hit. They're on pace to hit 200 this week by this time next week. They probably have 200 participants. So they're on the move. Okay, 457 ether raised so far. 27 days left. They're about to crack 500. Could be today. Okay, and then they're looking to then crack into the 1,000 mark, and then then they're gonna try to get their minimum goal of 2,000. Looks like they're definitely on pace for their minimum goal. It's been what 3 4 days. I think they was on. I think the ICO was 31 days or 30 days, something like that. So they're 3 days into it. They're already almost at 500 Ethereum. So they're about to hit their minimum goal. So that's cool to see. So links will be in the description for them as well. Underneath the donation stuff for my sister's funeral and things like that will be the prospectus. Okay, so yeah, so let's get into it now. Let's go here and let's talk about this article. I'm only going to read one article here. The main channel, Currency 365, will go through all the things that happened the last 24 hours. Okay. Uh, okay. So let's maybe last 24, 48 hours, whatever the case may be. We'll just go through everything that's happened in Iraq and what's going on, and I'm gonna search around to see if we can get some updated info on the lower notes and things like that. But so far, I haven't heard anything about anything new on the lower notes. Still, I guess they're still in play for August 10th. I mean August 20th, 21st. We're gonna watch that closely to see if those lower notes do go into the ATMs, and if we get any type of articles about it or anybody in Iraq talking about the new ATM machines that are now activated with the lower notes. Okay. Also, the pays that they're going to be going out on the 21st, or at least the bosses sending out the pay on the 21st. Not sure when the citizens actually receive that pay. Maybe 5 days after, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe right on the 21st. I don't know. But yeah, so we're going to be looking at that. We're also going to be looking at the MasterCard. Are they going to be activated late August or not? And everything else that comes with it. Okay, so I'm pretty sure the guys that are in Iraq are going to be letting us know more information this week. So we'll see what happens. The dinar community will bring me the information. I'm pretty sure of that. So thank you guys for bringing me the information, and I spit it back out to everybody else. Okay, so The internet. We'll look at this article only today, and then the main channel will look at all the rest of them. So let's just dig into this one. It says the International Monetary Fund warns Iraq against inflation of public debt. Okay, inflation of public debt. Now this is interesting because they're not telling them to go to launch their economic reforms. They did. There was an article that did talk about the IMF is moving Iraq to the economic recovery with their economic reforms. I know that, but this article here is just talking about the IMF warning Iraq against inflation of public debt. Okay, basically, so instead of continuing to store up public debt and loans and more loans from all types of different entities and countries, go ahead and do the things that you need to do, so you don't have to use other people's money. You can use your own money. And that's what they're doing. But they're warning them to finish it, right? Finish the job. And because Iraq has not finished the job yet, right? They're doing the ATMs and the lower notes and the MasterCards and the ATM cards and all that stuff. They're doing all the economic stuff. They're putting in the banking system. They're doing the trainings. They're doing everything, but they have not completed the job yet. Completing the job is raising the value, right? And launching the private sector. That will complete the job, and also putting out that really good investment law that they have as well. Activating that investment law to the world. Okay, so let's see what this says here. This said the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, praised the government's measures aimed at achieving comprehensive economic development through controlling and reducing spending, encouraging investment, and heading toward the private sector. So they should already be at the private sector, right? It says heading towards the private sector, but they should already be at the private sector. And Alok was talking about, and I'm hoping I have that article for you guys, or at least talk about it on the main channel. Alok is going to be holding a meeting with the private sector about the currency window, and I did mention that to some of you guys on Facebook, Currency 365, that he has to meet with them, because when they launch the rate, they're basically launching the private sector, because the private sector holds the value. Their true value is held in the private sector. So when they launch the private sector, that rate is then become visible, right? It's like your IPO. So Iraq's launching their IPO. They're going from private, which is non-global international country, to a global international country. So when you do that, you have to release a true value, right? So your value is hidden right now. Their value is hidden. It's under a program rate. Okay, that rate is not their value. Their true value is hidden. So when they launch their Iraq into the international world, they release that hidden value, that true value, and they come off of the program value that is orchestrated by the flood of U.S. dollars. Okay, so that's what's going to happen, and this is why they have to orchestrate it with the private sector, because when they launch the rate, they will be launching the private sector as well, because then that private value will then become public. And this is what I said when I started the channel on Currency 365. One of the first videos I did was a conversation with one of my friends that used to be my co-worker when I was in the government, and government contractor, and we went over that, and I even said that in that video. So a lot of you guys remember that video. I said clearly that I said people in the dinar community are not understanding, and people don't understand that Iraq has to launch the private sector, because that rate is in that reality rate, whatever it is. And at that time, it was probably like 5 cents, 15 cents, 10 cents. They've come up a long way since then, right? So, but whatever that rate is, at that time, Breitling was saying, I think he was saying 35 to 50 cents, but whatever that rate is, they knew that private sector has to launch which will open that rate. And so that was a key video. I don't know if that video, I don't even think that video is still on the Currency 365 channel. I don't know. I haven't looked back at all the videos, and I need to do that sometime. But of course, I'm busy with my, I have to contact people with my sister and all the other stuff that's going on with my sister and everything else going on in the world and drama and all the other stuff. So, but at some point, I'm gonna have to go. I want to go back. And I want to look at all those. I gotta go back to all those videos because I want to see if they're still even up there, or YouTube has taken them down. Because YouTube has taken down a lot of my videos. And definitely unmonetized. Many of my, maybe 70% of my videos are unmonetized. So I'm still making the same amount of money as I did when I had 1,500, 3,000 subscribers. We're well over on this channel. We have 3,000 plus. The main channel we have 11,000 plus, and I'm still making the same amount of money as I did last year, a year and a half ago. I mean, it's unbelievable. Let me see here. Somebody just texted me. Okay. Let me see here. So let's continue here. Let's finish up this. It says encouraging investment and heading towards the private sector, as well as serious steps towards maximizing its non-oil revenues to avoid or reduce the budget deficit by improving and by moving away from the total dependence on oil. And remember, Abadi said that the oil has come down in the budget by like 10%, something like that. So I'm not sure it was 80% or 85%. I think he said 85% now, something like that. 80 to 85% for the budget. I thought it was 75% at one point, but whatever. I think they said 85% now for oil, and no longer 95%. So so that's a 10% difference for this year's budget. Okay, so no more total depending on oil. They have 15% in the other areas, so it's getting, and then next year will be even lower. It'll probably be 75, 70%, especially if they revalue. It'll be a lot lower next year if they revalue this year. Let's see here. It says as a main resource of the budget, fund revealed through its indicators of the overall financial and economic conditions in Iraq for the period from 2013 to 2020 on the arrival of the volume of public debt to Iraq to $122.9 billion, which constitutes 63.8% of gross domestic product, expected to reach public debt in 2018 to 132.4 and continue to fund caps up to 132.9 in 2022. The fund, through the executive director's assessment on the sidelines of the conclusion of the article, should be Article 4, and that's a typo right there. Article 4, Executive Board with Iraq welcome the policy set by the Iraqi government to deal with the shocks of armed conflicts with the terrorist organization and humanitarian crisis resulting from the waves of displacement and its aftermath, as well as the second shock of falling oil prices of crude oil. The IMF said that the growth prospects in Iraq are positive, and in the medium term growth will be driven by the moderate increase in oil production, the recovery of non-oil growth, supported by the expected improvement in security conditions and the implementation of structural reform measures. Yeah, so implementation of structural reform measures. We need to see them launch their economic reforms. Okay. Let me stop there. My voice is getting a little harsh here. So I need to rest my voice here so I can be able to do the next video. I do have the Kick ICO full review video coming as well today, so I need to definitely make sure my voice is capable of going through all this. Okay. Yeah. So that's it. Do your economic reforms. Complete your economic reforms. This is basically what we went through with Mosul, where we were begging them. Remember Mosul? Remember that Mosul mess? We were begging them to actually complete Mosul and to get the terrorists out of their country. We were begging them. Like, it was unprecedented. Like, we had to literally come on Twitter and harass Abadi and come on YouTube and say, why hasn't Iraq accelerated the completion of Mosul. I mean, it was so embarrassing, right? So this is exactly the same thing that's going on now. Kurdistan region has launched their economic reforms already. Okay, I think that was back in the springtime. Then we had, well, wait a minute. Did Kurdistan region do that in the springtime? Well, was that last year that Kurdistan region launched their economic reforms? No, the Kurdistan region launched their economic reforms last year because I remember United Nations going to the Kurdistan region, and that lady was representing the United Nations, and she was almost, I think she was crying to see that the Kurdistan region had launched their economic reforms, and she was saying this was a historic moment for the Kurdistan region. So now we're waiting. Now a year later, we wait on Iraq to do the same thing. Maybe somebody can pull up that article of the Kurdistan region, United Nations, and the Kurdistan region launching their economic reforms. Yeah, or launching reforms or something like that. So, anyways, it was a historic. I remember that because I did a video on it, and I even played the video. The lady, so happy about with the in the Kurdistan region. President Barzani and Prime Minister Barzani was sitting right there, and they were everybody was in attendance for that moment. So we want to see the same thing for Iraq. Iraq launching the economic reforms, and the United Nations is so proud of them. The IMF so proud of them. The BIS, the World Bank, and the U.S. Treasury and the whole world just proud of Iraq, just like that we were when they finally gave us Mosul. We want to see them revalue and launch the economic reforms, and the whole world is proud of them. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Let's look at Bitcoin, and we'll be done with the video. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow from this channel. And we got some. Well, not really, because I do have the quick review video for Kick ICO coming as well after this one. So it's a full day on both videos. So both channels. So enjoy all the videos. Check out all the videos on both channels today. You know what I mean? It's a backload of all the videos that should have came out yesterday. They're all coming out today because of what suddenly happened to my sister. So yeah. So check all the videos out. Bitcoin is sitting in here at record highs at 4,240. I mean, remember when I was telling you guys don't miss out, and this is when Bitcoin was at 800. I said, and this is when BTC clicks came out, and I said, guys and girls, I understand that you're making pennies. You're making pennies on BTC clicks. When you're clicking those ads, and you're watching your ads on BTC clicks, and you're collecting your little satoshis. But I was like, but I promise you, if you just do it, you won't regret it, because those little pennies that you're making will turn into dollars within a year, and then within dollars they will turn into $10 within maybe 2 years, and then within dollars they will turn into maybe even possibly within 5 years $100. Okay, so I mean you got and like I said, look at Bitcoin now. Okay, so we were at 800 when that BTC Clicks website came out, and I was telling everybody to get on there, click your ads, and just stack your Bitcoins, and then once you meet the minimum, just send them over to Kraken, Coinbase, or Gemini Wallet, and just what I mean, and just stack your and now we're doing it with the faucets as well, right? But back then it was 800. We didn't have, imagine if we had the faucets back then, and we were I didn't know anything about the faucets. I wish I did, because back then when it was 500, when I called the buy signal at 500, I had no clue about the faucets and BTC clicks and none of that stuff. I wish I did. My life would be really changed right now. It would be a whole different story for many of us right now, because we would have been stacking our Bitcoins, our Litecoins, our Dogecoins. Well, not really Dogecoins. Dogecoins we probably would have traded in for Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum, or we would have got some GHS power for our mining, right? So if we knew about this stuff back when Bitcoin was at $500, when I called the buy signal, life would be so different right now for many of us, because look at the price now for Bitcoin. And for all you guys that said that's a joke, I'm only making pennies on BTC Click when Bitcoin was at 800, and now look at what you're making. Now look at how much money you've missed out on. Okay, so And look how much money you're about to miss out on next by next March, when Bitcoin is possibly at the data sets with Cliff High saying 13,000 plus. So yikes, right? You could have changed your life just by clicking some ads, right? So anyways, Bitcoin is doing its thing. Ethereum's at 296, got to cross over that 300. It did hit 318 on Coinbase GX. Let's see here. Litecoin suffering a little bit. I'm gonna watch Litecoin. I did. The Litecoin faucet did pay out. I'm not going to turn that over to GHS because Litecoin is falling. I want to build that Litecoin up because there is supposed to be some major news on some type of contract negotiation completion, some type of massive news on Litecoin that is going to send it to $100 plus, according to the data set. So I'm gonna build up Litecoin through the faucets, and there is a new Litecoin faucet that is out now. It's on the Facebook page, and you can also check it out on my pin post on Facebook, Currency 365. All the faucets are there. So I'm just gonna build up my Bitcoin, build up my Litecoin faucets, and not touch them, and just build them up. Okay. So that's it. Talk to you guys later, and watch out for Litecoin. Huge news is coming out either in August, late August, or September, and it's going to take it up to 100 plus. Peace out, everybody. God bless, and thank you guys for the kind words and all of the donations that you've given for me because of the sudden death of my sister. Unbelievable. Life is short. Don't waste your whole life being mad about Iraq. You know that your life is short. Don't let it deteriorate your health. You don't know when you're gonna take your last breath, and we definitely, this weekend was a great reminder. So a painful reminder at that. Peace out, everybody. God bless.